It's the Paris Chong Show.
Tell her. And she was actually on a job at the Capitol on January 6th. So why don't you tell us what happened that day?
I was on an assignment with Getty Images, one of 3 photographers that was assigned to cover the historic presidential vote count in the Capitol. And so business as usual. When I've done other work in the Capitol, very ceremonial, quiet. I went early in the morning because I wanted to document the quietness, the stillness. I typically gravitate to those moments that are quiet and still in the midst of chaos. Mm-hmm. So I want to go early ahead of time and just kind of, get some images before the Congress people showed up and before everything got started. So I went and I did that, and it was like eerily still. I did notice that. And I just remember family and friends who knew that I was going to be at the Capitol that day working, they were saying to me, be careful, don't, just watch yourself, and, we're praying for you, all these things. And so, I clearly remember saying to them, like, I'll be fine. I'm not going to be outside where everything is happening. I'm going to be inside the Capitol. Nothing ever happens there. Yeah. Famous last words. Nothing ever happens there. I've never, out of the times and the years that I photographed there, nothing did ever happen there. I could go in and drop my bags and drop my guard and just do the work and not worry about any kind of security issues, So that day was different. It started out very quiet, as I said. And then as the staff started to come in and the Congress people, I started to document that. And I was charged with documenting them bringing this ceremonial ballot box from the Senate side to the House chamber. And so it was the vice president and the senators from that side, and they were walking across through Statuary Hall and through the rotunda to go to the House chamber. And like I said, very ceremonial, quiet, usual.
Yeah.
Little did I know, like earlier that day, I got a call from an editor at the New York Times asking me if I could do a portrait of Gabby Giffords the next day. And I was like, oh yeah, definitely. Because, Gabby Giffords, like, she is inspirational because what she went through, like, she shouldn't even be alive. Mm-hmm. And she's still out there doing the work. So I said, yeah, I'll definitely do that. And so I knew that was coming up the next day. Went about my work, and they went into the House chamber. And then I went up in the balcony of Statuary Hall because I wanted to get a different angle of the senators and staff, vice president, coming back over to the Senate side. So I went up in the balcony to take those photos. Nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, cool. So when they went back to the Senate chamber, I pulled my laptop out. I had a small backpack with me because normally I would keep things in our office there, mm-hmm. and I would leave my backpack with my laptop and different things, and just carry like essential things with me. This particular day, I had my backpack that had my car keys, my laptop, essentially everything I needed except like my coat because it was cold.
Yeah.
But my essentials.
What you needed to get the hell out of there.
Little did I know.
Yeah.
So I was in the balcony. I pulled my laptop out, and I'm uploading my photos so that I could put captions on them and send them to Getty so they could get them out on the wires. And my dad called me. And so I pick up the phone, and he said, where are you? And I said, I'm inside the Capitol. I'm filing. He's like, oh, he said, it looks pretty bad out there. I was like, yeah, but I'm good. I'm inside. Yeah. We're cool. And he's like, okay, well, just be careful because it's looking pretty bad. And I was like, okay. So I'm inside the Capitol. I can't see what's going on, what's coming, to the Capitol. No idea. And as I'm filing, I start hearing these big booms. It sound like cannon booms. And somebody told me they're like flashbangs or something like that. So I hear that, and there's an office that's connected to the balcony that was open, and someone was in that office who was a part of Congressman Clyburn's staff. So I knocked on her door. She invited me in because she had a window that looked out on the lawn. And this lawn, you could see the Washington Monument, but it also had the tall wooden riser that the media was going to use for the inauguration. So that's where they would be positioned with the cameras, so they could cover that. And I could see people on top of that riser, and they were rocking it. They were just rocking back and forth. They had these large Trump flags I saw waving. And I look out, and it's like tons of people just walking from the direction of the Washington Monument towards the Capitol. And so the lady whose office I was in said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to make it to my car, like right now. I said, yeah, I don't think so. And so as we're talking, someone comes up from downstairs to her office, and she said, we have to go. We have to shelter now. We have to shelter. We have to go inside. And so it was myself, and there were two other photographers who were in the balcony. And so they invited us to come with them to shelter. And as we were coming out of the office, I look over the balcony of statuary, and that's when I saw the Capitol Police. They were piling these bike racks to block like the House chamber, like the hall. And I had never seen anything like that in life. So I was like, okay, something's really going on. It's serious. But still didn't know that there was a breach and people were inside the Capitol. So they look up, they see us up there, and they said, you guys need to shelter now, like get inside now. And so I just remember the lady who came up and said we had to get inside, she had all these keys on a keychain. And she's like fumbling with the keys, like her hands are shaking. And she's like fumbling the keys, like, okay, I'm trying. So we're just like standing there, like, and so she finally gets the key to unlock the door we need to go in. And we go up this back staircase to Congressman Clyburn's office, where the rest of his staff, they were already in there. So as soon as we got in the room, they barricaded the doors with furniture that they pushed up against the door. And they turned all the lights out. There was a TV. There was a TV in the room, but they turned the volume all the way down, so you know we couldn't hear anything, but we could see. And that became where we stayed for like over 2 hours, because basically everything was on lockdown. They told people to shelter, and all that we knew, even though we were inside, we had to look at the TV to be able to see what was going on, because we couldn't see it otherwise. Now, there was one window inside of that office. It was a small window on this platform, and I climbed up on that platform a few times, and I took pictures, from that window, and it showed like.
And we're going to be able to show these pictures. So
Yeah.
we're going to edit that in later, guys. So we'll get ready for that.
So I knew at that point it was like, okay, this is like nothing that has ever happened before. It turned my whole world upside down, because I always looked at the Capitol as one of the safest places, if not the safest place in this country. So now it's totally different, and we're watching things unfold on TV. I had no signal on my cell phone, so I knew that I had friends and family who were trying to get in touch with me, and they couldn't. Like it was just the signals were it was jammed. So we were just sitting there kind of quiet.
How horrifying for your father, who knows that you're there, and for your family.
My mom and dad.
I can hear the emotion in your voice while you're talking about this, like you're living it all again.
Yeah,
like
it does.
It sounds so traumatizing.
Yeah. So it's something, I'll never forget that day. It's like it happened yesterday. But I've learned like over time to I'm a lot better talking about it now.
Yeah.
Because before, like anytime I would go to talk about it, I would get emotional. A lot of emotions would just flood, and I would have to stop. For me to continue to do the work was what kept me going.
It's the Paris Chong Show.